Good Wednesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network. We are very much excited for today's program because we have data and we're data nerds on this network. Today's show is going to highlight April and May as we finished another month in 2024. We're about the halfway marker or approaching the halfway marker of the calendar year. And we now have 5 months of data to relay to you from the car footprint. We'll take a look at April and May, and we'll compare them to January, February, and March, the first quarter, to see how April and May are doing versus the first 90 days of the calendar year. I'll highlight Yes Realty Partners, Yes Realty Partners online at yesrealtypartners.com. Trusted advisors in real estate. They'll help you get to the closing table and beyond. If you're looking for a suggestion, Yes Realty Partners is one that has tried and tested since 1987. Judah Wickhauer, my friend, you are the director and producer. If you can go to the studio camera, and then the two-shot to welcome Keith Smith, clad in pink. Hello, Keith Smith.
In shorts.
Very nice. Casual Keith should be more present, especially in the hot summer months.
Casual Keith, and when I get back from vacation, it'll be even more casual Keith. Yeah, I wanted...
Where are you going for vacation?
You know where I'm going. We go down to St. Martin every year, so this we normally go for our wedding anniversary, but work being what it is, we're doing it the first 2 weeks of June, so Mrs. Smith and I are going to go celebrate our 38th year of wedding, of being married to me. Fantastic.
Viewers and listeners, have no fear. Keith Smith has guest hosts.
I have guests lined up that they generally are better than me, so you're going to have some good shows.
I wouldn't say that, but having the eclectic perspective is welcome. Keith, today you have data.
I do. I just wanted to geek out a little bit because, we've been talking about how, the second quarter might look like versus the first quarter. So I ran some numbers, and Judah was kind enough to get the slide all prepped up for it. We only have one slide today. But,
Judas appreciates that.
Well, actually, I kind of lied. I did the other slides as potentially.
I don't think he minds the actually, he doesn't mind at all.
Yeah. Well, without you, we wouldn't be doing this because all we do is sit around and
sit and talk. Judas,
he makes all the magic.
The director and producer, absolutely.
So it's interesting. So if you take a look at the car footprint, as far as sales go, for the first 2 months, we're about 1.1% up. But it's interesting. There are 490 in pending. So some of them all won't close next month, but a majority of them will. So there's a strong possibility by the time we look at this at the end of June, that second quarter is going to be substantially higher in closed transactions, which is kind of normal, right? This is that kind of normal season on it. But just to take a look at the first 2 months overall car footprint, we're up 6.5% in sales price. So just in the last 2 months, we grew 6.5% an increase. So that's the whole car footprint. So that's the 6 jurisdictions. It includes everything, new construction, condos, attached and detached. So what I also wanted to do real quick is kind of take, okay, how's each one of the 6 jurisdictions doing?
I like this slide.
So instead of bugging Judah with 12 different slides, I kind of all put it together on one. So, obviously, Albemarle County is the largest volume. So there are...
Albemarle County is the largest volume, and it looks like the top median sales dollar.
It is the top median sales dollar of 540, so that's up roughly 3% in 2 months. The sales are up 3.2%. So the volume of sales are up a little bit the first 2 months. Again, I think you're going to see huge jumps. Probably doubling these numbers by the time we close the end of next month. Then the real trick is going to be, okay, what's the summer going to do, right? Are we going to be more trending towards the normal history of it, or are we going to keep this trend going forward? City of Charlottesville is down compared to the end of the first quarter by roughly 7%.
In units sold, price points are flat.
Price points are flat. Fluvanna is up a number of units sold by almost 20%, but it's staying flat on pricing.
Why do you think that is with Fluvanna?
Why is it up?
I mean,
or why is it flat?
Why is it flat? And the reason I ask why it's flat is, I mean, let's cut to the chase here. Albemarle County, $16,000 median increase.
Well,
Charlottesville City, I mean, you call Charlottesville flat. Why is Fluvanna flat on price?
well, just think about it. It's only 2 months. I didn't,
I mean, 2 months is a good sample size when we're only comparing it to the first 3 months of the year.
It is, but to be flat or a little bit above is kind of what I expected to see across the board, not some of these large jumps like,
I mean, Albemarle's a pretty sizable jump here.
well, the large is in green.
I mean, Greene County's a $35,000 median jump.
Is 9.5%.
Yeah.
So Greene County, remember we talked about this at the end of the first quarter. Keep an eye out on Greene. You're going to start seeing Greene upticking a little bit.
And how about Louisa County?
Yeah, Louisa County, a little caveat on that. That's only the car footprint, right?
Yeah.
Because we pull out the stuff from Northern Virginia. So Louisa County's up. So the counties that have been performing exceptionally well or continue to perform exceptionally well. Why Fluvanna is flat? I just think the most of that is in Lake Monticello, right? I think the prices are just stabilizing over there, which is not a bad thing. When we look at this at the end, when we look at this in the beginning of next year, you'll see Fluvanna up, and it's probably going to be overall somewhere between 3 to 6%, which is a normal increase, right? That's what we should be seeing in my opinion, as a healthy market. When we start seeing these double-digit year-over-year increases, and it's great when you buy, but it also makes it more difficult for the buyer to get in. So I just wanted to kick the show off a little bit with that and see what anybody had to say. More importantly, my fellow real estate agents, are they seeing some of the same data out there? But overall car footprint, we are up 6.5%. Majority of that 6.5% is in Greene and Louisa. A little bit of it's in Albemarle County as far as price goes. The rest of them stayed either flat or somewhere between 1 to 3% in the last 2 months. So that's what I wanted to kick the show off and see if anybody had anything to say.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes, we appreciate you very much. The Intrastate Service Company family. Lonnie Murray.
Magic happen.
Lonnie Murray, this is right up your alley. Curious of your take on this, Lonnie. Johnny Ornalis, Capasa Chico, how are you? Seth Batten, he's a realtor watching the program. We love you, Seth. Charles Ix, Holly Foster, hello. Ray Cadell, let us know your thoughts. Tom Powell, the founder of the Toy Lift. Chad Wood, hello, welcome to the program. Christelle, you are a Lake Monticello resident. We're giving Lake Monticello a little perspective and attention on today's show. Tripp Stewart, the real estate investor, and Mo Barros, fantastic mortgage aficionado watching the program. Let's do this jurisdiction by jurisdiction. Start with Albemarle County first. Judah, rotate that slide in because I think this slide is rich with data here. Did a great job of putting this together, Keith Smith, distinguished gentleman. First, Albemarle County. Units sold Albemarle County Q1 versus April and May of this year. Albemarle County sold 9 additional units under contract in April and May versus the first 90 days of this year. So when you include June, June, you're going to have some units sold.
Well, let's take a look at that
Please.
because I wrote that down. Hold on a second.
Because for them to close in June now, they better be going pending right about now.
Correct.
And that still could be potentially pretty tight, right?
Correct. And actually, I don't have the pending for Albemarle County. I do have it for the full car footprint.
Could you let us know
performance.
pending in Paragon?
Yeah, I can do that while you chat a little bit. But yes, so
there's a few that I know of that are pending in Albemarle County as we speak.
yeah, it's a couple. It's a couple.
So, I would imagine that number is going to potentially uptick when you include June.
Yeah. So the reason I looked at the big footprint here is to see what we were doing as a car footprint. I'll take a look at it. I'll tell you, for whatever reason, I wrote down Charlottesville early this morning, and they have 60 in pending.
16?
60.
60, okay. So Charlottesville's going to finish ahead of the first quarter.
Correct.
And in the second quarter when you include June.
Yeah, so
because they'll probably close in June, those that are pending now, most likely, most of them.
And the thing about Albemarle County, is once I take a look at it and get a minute to do that, majority of that's probably going to be new construction.
You think?
I'll be able, once I go ahead and spend a moment and do that, I'll be able to do that. Flavanna has 40 in pending. Green has 54 in pending. I don't have Nelson or Louisa as far as pendings go.
Green County is sizzling. Louisa sizzling. We're going to try to break this down by jurisdiction. Albemarle County, the first quarter of this year, the median sales dollar was $446,000. 446. April and May, the median sales value, the median sales dollar amount was $475,000. So you're seeing a pretty nice uptick here. It is important to highlight this. I believe Carly Wagner highlighted this on previous shows. In a jurisdiction like Albemarle County that has high dollar homes, a handful of high dollar homes, multi-million dollar homes can sway this amount.
Totally. That's the reason I like the median. It kind of kicks the high and low. So you have 254 units that are currently in pending.
254?
254.
In Albemarle.
250 and.
Jeez Louise.
Hold on a second here. I will tell you. So.
And you're going to decipher how many are new
I'm
construction?
going to do that for you right now.
254 units currently in pending in Albemarle County alone. April and May, Albemarle County, put the slide back on, 289
So
units.
75 of that 254 are new construction.
All right, so we'll take the 75 out. 254 minus 75.
Well, I'd have to do a little homework because, some of these will close, right? Because it depends on.
But you like to take the new construction out, right?
Excuse me?
You like to take it out, don't you?
For these numbers, I leave everything in.
Okay.
Right.
God, Albemarle is hot.
I leave everything in. Yeah, well, Albemarle's, but even if you want to take off the 75 new construction, some of them will close, right? Because some of them are either are ready to be occupied or haven't been built, so we'd have to take a deeper dive. But even let's just call it 200 for the sake of a talk show. So 200 on top of the 280, 289, which is going to substantially put us above the 280 for the first quarter. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here, is that you're going to see this, I think, this big jump in the second quarter. Once we start adding in these pendings, when we take a look, we normally do the quarter numbers like 1 or 2 days at the end of whatever the first show is after the end of the month, unless it's the same day because Smith won't have time to do all the data. But the first show after, we kind of take a look at it. But you're going to start, to do a little prediction out here. As far as volume of units go, you're going to see some substantial jumps across. So it's probably somewhere around 200, because I'd have to really take a deep dive into the new construction end of it to see what they close.
Janet DeCastro Laney watching the program. I love when she watches the show. I Love CVille Facebook page is on fire right now. Bill McChesney, let us know some perspective you have here.
So just so to throw it in here.
Monticello Wine Trail, hello.
So we don't know what the actual sales price is going to be until they close, right? But they do put in the median pending or quote unquote list price.
Yeah.
And that number's 575. So if that holds true, then Albemarle County is probably going to jump from the 540 that we have right now to somewhere around the 575. So that'll be roughly, I can almost do this math in my head. It's going to be roughly a $50,000 jump if these two numbers hold true. But we won't know until they close, right? So they are in the pending thing. On the high side, to your point,
yeah,
5,950,000. On the low is 165,000.
We can start utilizing these numbers to try to figure out what's going to happen for the rest of the year, because we're almost at the halfway point. And Keith Smith, it's looking like in Albemarle County a year over year, December 2024 versus December 2023, a pretty substantial uptick.
Yeah. So the mid-year mark is, really where we're going to take a look at it and start projecting out which we're
for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But we're so darn close to that.
That's what I'm saying. You can start doing that.
We can start doing that. There will be a slowdown. This pace that we're seeing in the second quarter.
I think we're going to see a slowdown this summer, and we always see a slowdown around the holidays. We also have a presidential election this year, and
That's
we
the
don't
big-
know how that's going to impact things.
Yeah, yeah. I think all these things we talk about are not going to change the lack of inventory. As long as inventory doesn't miraculously change in some way, shape, or form, you're going to start, this upward pressure on price. It isn't going to go away. But I was rather, I kind of thought we would see a big spike in the second quarter. I think the numbers are going to prove that to be the case. And then we're either going to stay flat, dip a little bit, and then we're going to shoot back up in the fall and then balance back out. But then again, that's very normal. We did a show and showed a graph on going back a number of years.
I was speaking with an economist last night over a beverage, and he alluded that he would not be surprised if 30 to 45 days prior to the election, we see potentially a rate cut to give Biden a little momentum at the polls, something that Biden's camp can point to. We're not making this about politics, but rate cuts do apply to real estate.
But that would be a bit political, wouldn't it?
I mean, rate cuts do apply to real estate.
Yeah.
So no one knows. I mean, let's cut to the chase. How many people?
Well, in theory, they're supposed to be independent, but
right. In theory, they are supposed to be independent. Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
We'll
This is
highlight the theory.
right. This is what this particular
That's not the first time I've heard that.
PhD and an economist, a professor had to say. Who knows?
Who was the president that said it's about the economy, stupid? Can't remember which one that
I
was.
think that was James Carville that said
That's
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
right,
I don't
James
think it was a
Carville.
president.
That's right. Yeah. So it's always about the economy.
Yeah.
That's what people's pocketbooks matter. It's interesting. You're seeing the 30-year kind of float down a little bit. You're seeing some stuff below 7. Don't know if that's to your point, the tailwinds of this, November.
I mean, ours just got adjusted.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a chance to mention that to you, but in the right direction, which was nice. But
Thank God.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so I know the question that we've been repetitively asking ourselves is, what's happening with inventory, right? We're seeing that there's an uptick in sales, which means there was an uptick of inventory. So when we were looking at, 30, 60 days ago, if you remember, we were having conversations about, hey, we're having, on a 7-day window, we're seeing 100 houses come on, right? We're now back in the 60s, right? So there's usually between a 30 to 60-day lag time when we start seeing them on the back end, which is the closing end of it. So
Keith, it would be absolutely bananas if year over year again, December 2023 versus December
we'll be
2024.
up. The question is how much?
My point was, are we going to see a double-digit uptick in values again
I think,
in another year? This data would suggest so.
well, we're at 6.5%.
Right.
And we're not even finished with the second quarter
That's
yet.
my point.
Yeah. So
And the second quarter's got a boatload of volume in the pipe.
it's got a boatload, and then the
And
question.
we follow this fairly closely. You follow this as closely as anyone. That 750 and up price point is turning quickly.
They are, right? I think all of them are turning quickly. We can take a quick look at that on which different price points. I didn't break it down on that. I just wanted to do a quick pulse check, for lack of a better term, is okay, how we're doing. Are we really tracking the way we thought we were going to track? And I think the answer to that is yes. The question is how much. But yeah, I think you're going to see in a full car footprint a double digit. You're going to see in some jurisdictions probably more of the norm of 3 to 6.
Well, I mean, it's certainly looking like that for Fluvanna.
Well, you're going to see Fluvanna
And it's certainly looking like that
for the city.
the city of Charlottesville. We need to ask the question.
Well, I think
What's going on with the city of Charlottesville?
Yeah, so I think what happened was there was this huge spike, and this is my opinion for what it's worth, a huge spike after the December announcement of the zoning rewrite. And I think a lot of people kind of went into the market a little bit higher than what the market could absorb. I think the market, and Roger's is leading the charge on this,
Roger Voisinay.
is, when they're starting to work through what this actually means in the field, And again, it's a shout out to Roger. He's one of the few folks that are actually throwing this into the city to say, okay, here's a project. Let's work through this together. So he's really leading the charge on that. So kudos to him. And we'll know a lot more by the end of this year exactly how these projects are going to go through the process. I'm going to pivot a little bit. Just keep in mind,
Okay.
if it's over 3 units, it's a full site plan, guys. So this isn't a simple, sign off kind of thing. This is a full site plan. You've got to do infrastructure. I got a meeting tomorrow with, I'll just say it, Nicole Scrow. She's got a piece of property that the land trust is trying to work together with her to do it. And it's, there's probably a couple of $100,000 in site plan and approval work just to get 6 affordable housing units in there. So that they're trying to work this out, and Roger's definitely in the forefront of that. So I think that's what's happened. I think the market's kind of just adjusting a little bit. It's also, Jerry, you're also at 525. That number's creeping up. I think you're going to see a little bit of an increase at the end of the year, somewhere between 3 and 6.
For the car footprint.
I think you might see it for Charlottesville in the second half of the year. I think you're going to see a
Do
little
we
bit.
crack double digits for Albemarle County?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so.
Fluvanna County, if I put the over-under at 5% year-over-year value appreciation, do you take the under or over of 5%? I mean, right now,
I would take, if we were to bet, I would take the under.
I'd take the under on Fluvanna County as well.
So we got to come up with a different number. So I think 3% is the over-under number, and I think you'll be under 3%.
What?
Yeah, I think you will. I think
At
you're.
that point, if Fluvanna County in December of 2023 and Fluvanna County in December of 2024 is under 3% in value appreciation,
Should be just under, I think.
and Albemarle County is over 10%, which is your prediction.
I think it'll be double digits.
Louisa County, what's your predictions going to be?
It'll be double digits.
I think it's going to be double digits with Louisa as well.
Same with Green, by the way.
So you have all these counties surrounding Fluvanna that have double-digit appreciation. You're even saying City of Charlottesville you would expect year over year over 6%. You got to start asking the question, what is going on in Fluvanna?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the number of units too, right? So you have to take a look at, we've had.
Woody Fincham, hello.
Hey, Woody. We had Fluvanna County was the highest increase in the number of units, so it jumped up 20%, 19% to be exact. In the last 2 months. So I think
12 units, 62 versus 74.
I understand that, but percentage-wise, that's 19%. But if you take a look at some of the other jurisdictions, they're not jumping that high, right? They're more in the single. So I think what's happening here, I think the highest is.
I mean, I guess Nelson County had a drop.
It went the opposite direction.
Yeah, drop.
And oh, by the way, if you take a hard look at Nelson County, their new listings are skyrocketing. I think they're over 100.
Are you
Right.
carving out Wintergreen?
No, I'm just looking at a full picture of Nelson County. So these are very macro jurisdiction numbers. I'm not breaking them down into, frankly, just didn't have enough time this morning to do that. But you're seeing, Nelson County is the only one going backwards. That might change when you start breaking out Wintergreen, because we've seen that happen before.
I mean, let's go. How many units on the market in Wintergreen alone?
We'd have to take a quick look at that. But
Gavin Sherwood of Yes Realty Partners, a Wintergreen specialist.
he is very much so a Wintergreen. He's a Nelson County specialist, but he's a specialist all around. And by the way, we're having a crawfish boil at his house on Saturday, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Did you RSVP Judah Wickower?
I have not.
You didn't kindly send your regrets over there?
Oh,
Judah.
that is something one does not want to miss. He's flying in gator, crawfish, and shrimp from Alabama. Fairhope, Alabama.
Wait, how do you cook gator?
You fry it.
And the deep
I
fryer?
thought
Judah, are you on a 3-shot?
No.
No.
That way you're not the voice of God.
Let's see.
Let's see the charming Judah Wickower.
I gotta make some adjustments.
He doesn't have a sweater on today.
Well, he would highlight that the AC is not blasting. And I would say it stays a cool 72 degrees here all the time.
And that's because of me.
I'm
I
wearing
run a little hot.
I'm wearing short sleeves and shorts right now, as
So
are
am
you.
I.
Are you
So
wearing
I-
sandals?
I've got my
Birkenstocks?
I got my Birks on.
Okay.
I am getting in the mindset of Vacation.
Judah has denim. He has a Henley under his button-down shirt and a button-down shirt on.
Probably long johns in there somewhere.
We kid because we care. Judah knows that. What were you going to say about the Gator? You had something poignant.
You're
to-
fine.
Oh, yeah. I thought they flew it in so somebody could wrestle it.
No?
But
Would that be Keith Smith
Not
to wrestle
me.
the Gator?
Not me.
I
brother.
wouldn't touch that Gator.
No. I'll eat it.
How do
though.
you fly in a Gator to Nelson County from Alabama? Is it on ice? It would have to be, right?
Yeah. It's on. They fly it in
On dry ice?
Yeah. Mhm.
In a box.
in a box.
So when the Gator comes out of the out of the box,
They're in
okay.
chunks. You don't know they're
Okay,
gators.
that's what I was going to ask. Is it an actual Gator?
No. They come in little chunks. I mean, you could get, I guess, a whole gator. You can get anything
Because when you
want.
cook a pig, like Fitzgerald Barnes, friend of the program, Louisiana County Board of Supervisors,
dig a hole and bury it.
when he cooks a pig, you actually see the pig
Yeah.
on the grill.
Yeah, sure.
The pig head on the grill with an apple stuffed in its
Mm-hmm.
mouth.
Oh, to do it right, you dig a pit, and you do it in a pit. Has anybody ever had? Excuse me for a second, folks. Has anybody ever had rattlesnake?
I've never had rattlesnake. Judah, have you had rattlesnake?
I swear to God,
I
it
have
tastes
not.
just like chicken.
Rattlesnake
Nice.
tastes like chicken?
Yeah,
That's what
I
I've
swear
heard.
to God, it tastes just like chicken. It's really good, actually.
Have you had goat?
I've had goat.
Yeah.
Goat in the Caribbean. Give me a break.
You've had
Everything's
goat?
got goat in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the goat taste like?
It's mutton. It's actually a common meat in third world countries, right? Because they have them in abundance, and that kind of fills their belly.
Have you had dog or cat?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'll tell you a story.
Okay, where are you going to go with this one? I've not had dog or cat either, but go
that
ahead.
you're aware of.
I know.
So
I really hope I've never had dog or cat.
So true, God's honest, true story.
Where's he going to go with this, viewers and listeners? Well, they're on the edge of their seat. I'll stop.
Yeah, we're done with
No,
David.
please,
We're done
please,
with
no.
David.
True, God, honest story. Go, go.
Yeah. So, where we grew up, it was half Italian, half Jewish, and all that kind of great stuff. So, any Jewish neighborhood has Chinese food restaurants in it, right? And as a kid, we used to play in the alleys. Never saw a cat in an alley. All the years I played in the alleys, we played stickball and handball and all that stuff. Never saw a cat. Just saying. So
Do you want to touch that one, Judah Wickar?
No.
I'm not gonna touch that one either.
True story. Never saw a cat.
It's just an observation you have made.
Never saw a cat.
When it's all said and done,
It's a joke.
I know it's a joke. When it's all
Not a
said,
good joke, but it was a joke.
When it's all said and done, who would you say are going to be the winners and losers in the 2024? Maybe losers is not the right moniker.
Yeah,
Who would you say are going to be the winners, and who are you going to be the ones that are going to be a bit dispirited when 2024 is over?
So let's try it this way. Who's going to excel and who's going to stay more in the normal range? So I think you're
I
going
would say normal range in a very up market is cause for questions.
Correct. So, I mean, it's a legitimate question. Why is Fulvana flat? And I think why Fulvana flat is that as far as price increase goes, in 2 months now, folks, keep in mind, this is a 2-month snapshot versus last year.
But it's 2 months in the peak months
But
of the year, which you've highlighted on the show.
I
This
think-
quarter is the peak period.
I think in Fulvana County, the prices are somewhat stabilized. So here's the positive way of looking at it. If you're looking at something, in that price range, there's a likelihood that you're going to be able to acquire something at the price point you want. Here's the opposite side of it. You're now competing against 19% more people than you were at the end of the first quarter. So there's more people in the market. I think the prices are just stabilizing. It could be just 2 month snapshot. There are, what did I say in Fulvana County? Hold on a second. There are 40 pendants. So, that 19% is going to jump up considerably because for the most part, there's not that much new construction in Fulvana County. We know that firsthand. I'll tell you how much is in
Ricardo Cruz Duran, hello. Welcome to the program. We appreciate you watching the show. Bellamy Brown, my friend, Que Pasa Chico. We love when you watch the program, Bellamy Brown.
So 2 more went up since I looked at it this morning in pending in Fulvana. So there's 42 now. And let me tell you how many are new construction.
And this is the theory I want to pitch to you.
There's 1 new construction.
Let's say let's just do a hypothetical for you.
384. So you're going to see that jump. So just to put a pin in it real quick. So let's assume all 42 close by the end of June, which again is only one new construction, and they're likely, depending on status date. Let me see what I got in status dates here. Yeah. So more than likely, you're going to get pretty close to 40 more units. So you're going to have in Flavanna, just to make an argument, counter argument here, another 40 on top of the 74. But the price point right now pending, as far as the median list price, is 384. So we're going to jump from 345 to 384. So I think we're just catching Flavanna in kind of a middle of a cycle. Well, no, I mean, look, I think you're going to see it by the end of the quarter, that number jump definitively somewhere between 375 and 385, which we're at 345. So that'll be a substantial jump. I don't know what the percentage is off the top of my head.
I'll give you a hypothetical. The talk is the rate cuts will happen now after the election, next year. No one knows. It's just strictly hypothetical.
Well,
I mean, there was talk this time last year.
If they do their job, yeah.
There was talk this time last year, the tail end of last year, that we'd have 5 rate cuts in 2024. We haven't had a single one.
There's been talk in the Smith
Haven't
household.
had a single one.
There's been talk in the Smith household that I was going to win the lottery for the last 30
Exactly.
years.
No one knows. But let's just give you a hypothetical for the sake of a talk show. If the rate cuts happen after the election,
You know the old joke.
is this about back alleys and stickball?
The old joke, this guy's praying to God. Please, God, let me win the lottery. God, please let me win the lottery. And there's this voice that comes in and says, Keith, meet me halfway, buy a ticket. Sorry. An old joke.
That was a
Meet me
good
halfway,
joke.
buy a ticket.
I'll give you the hypothetical. If the rate cuts happen next year, the concept is the buyer demand will skyrocket even more. That's the prediction. If rates go lower, people will have more purchasing power, so there'll be more buyers in the pool, which makes the market even more of a bonanza.
Judah, could you put that slide back up here? Please?
In that scenario,
So
how does it play out?
So we haven't bet anything in a while. We probably need to come up with
Oh, I would love to. I love prop bets.
Yeah, since I'm going to the Caribbean, I can bring back more rum for you.
You realize you're the only one that drinks the rum here.
I know that.
Okay. The rum is...
It's literally the reason I said it. Literally the
When
reason.
we have drink here in the studio, the rum, we make sure not to drink your rum.
Yeah, thank you.
Because we
That's-
know it's so precious and you don't like some of the other spirits as much as we do.
That's very kind.
You
of
realize that, right?
Now I feel guilty.
No, but-
the Catholic just came out of me. Now I feel
I don't want to get the guilty Catholic coming out. But Judah can confirm here, we don't drink your rum.
Yeah. I admit it.
Yeah.
I admit it. Thank you for doing that. So
We respect you.
thank you.
Maybe I'm taking a sip and putting some water in there to the left, as if we were children. Remember when you did that as a kid? You hit the liquor bar, pull out a couple and then you fill it up a little bit with water, and you hope they don't notice that it's watered down. I have not done that with your rum. I have not done that with your rum.
So clearly, you do not come from an Irish family.
What, you guys just drink it and don't even fill them back up
There's
with
not
water?
an Irishman in the world that would not be able to taste the difference of watered down liquor.
Fair enough.
Right. And you know what? Okay, I won't tell.
No, tell us this joke. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah. You know why God created whiskey, right?
Yeah, I think you've told this joke before.
So the Irish wouldn't take over the world.
So the Irish would take it.
I'm half Irish, so I can tell that. You know how to make an Italian shut up?
Tell me that.
Make him sit on his hands. That's the other half of me. Anyway, so what you're gonna.
You're doing a good job today.
I'm trying to have fun.
So you're doing it.
But back on the business side of things.
The rate cuts.
Yeah. So this chart here is going to look the same, just more. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see this jurisdictions up and down and all this stuff. The volume is going to be more because interest rates go down. There's going to be way more buyers in the market, but then people that are sitting on the fence
will enter
the market. So all we're going to see is a greater increase, I think, of volume. Because the people that have been waiting, people...
Okay, go ahead.
People generally, and the NAR stats prove it, again, I've been really hard on National Association of Realtors, and I'll continue to be hard on it. I think what they did and how they're doing things is not kosher, but they are really, 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 really good at
With
stats.
data. Yeah.
And they're really good at lobbying. But their stats, if you take a look at the 2024 reports, I don't have it in front of me, most people, by a huge percentage, either buy or sell because of life reasons. Life happens, right? That doesn't mean there aren't some buyers and sellers out there that are going to say, okay, here's my 2% split, right? I'm delta between this and this.
Well, here's why we did it. We did it for the following reason. Yeah, significant equity position.
Is helpful.
The rates are higher, undoubtedly, certainly. Substantially. But I think what's going to happen, and I've learned from you, also from what we read and watch on the news, next year, I try to follow closely. Okay.
You are a unicorn.
Okay, I try to follow closely.
Right.
I think next year what's going to happen, and
most people are not.
I get it. I sit with you all the time, so I have to be on point to be able to keep up to speed with you.
I'll shut up and let you finish.
If I don't do the research, I can't keep up with you on the show. So that's why I do the research, and I like it.
Oh, geez, I thought it was the other way around.
I think next year the rates are going to drop. The buyer pool, as you highlighted, is going to be crazy. There will be more inventory, but there's going to be more competition, and that's going to cause a flood in. That's going to cause prices to escalate. Why we did it this year is if the rates drop next year, you can just refinance, and you're going to get ahead of the price increase. I'm just going to I'll just refinance when the price drop, and then the stuff that we got this year, we had less competition on it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it was that. That's why I could have done it next year. Could have had a little larger equity position, but then you're fighting with more people.
And what's going up?
The price would just go up. And the data is already showing the price is going to increase 10% plus.
So if you're in the position to buy, and we talk about this all the time, now is always a good time, and this waiting thing, rents going up, prices are going up. There's just, unless magically all of a sudden, and I truly believe this in my heart and soul. Not only do I believe it, but if you take a look into regions within the country that have had a shot, like double digits increase in new construction, these are like Texas and Tennessee and all these different things, guess what you're starting to see?
A little bit of stability.
A little bit of stability.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, a lot of stability.
You're seeing that around Austin.
A lot of stability,
yeah.
Right? A lot of normalcy starting to come back in. If you take a deep dive into the numbers for Albemarle County, and we talked about this before, and take a look at the attached product, because they've been excelling in new construction. They're not a huge number, but they're more than what they normally have been. That price point is stabilized a little bit, right? Now, the ones we're looking at right now is everything, right? We're doing detached, attached, condos, new construction. Everything is a big global number. But when you take a deeper dive into the Albemarle County, and Albemarle County is like 80 to 90% of all the attached products, Greene County is going to flip that.
Right.
Big time. This time next year, you're going to start seeing Greene County rocking and rolling. Maybe closer to 24 months, but it's on its way, Coach. And so you're going to go ahead and see. So in order for the interest rates are going to do great. It's just going to be more units in there, more buyers. The buyer pool is just going to stay super deep. The qualified buyer pool is going to stay super deep. The people that are not, that's the struggle here.
100%.
And in order to help them, we need to get inventory to climb up a little bit so there can be a little relief on the bottom side. I just know it because I deal with this with the land trust. I mean, we're trying to work out with, God bless Nicole Scroce, she's doing, the stand-up thing, trying to help us achieve this goal on it here in the city of Charlottesville, but it's only 6 units, if we can get it to happen. I don't think the numbers are going to work, to be honest with you.
Because of the site work. Why won't it work?
Site work, prep. I don't want to go into a meeting negative.
Yeah.
But I'm just smart enough to know this and kind of done this a few times. Construction costs are going up, right? It's just, and then the problem is, okay, we've got a fixed number for acquisition, we've got a fixed number for development, we've got a fixed number for construction. These units are probably going to cost somewhere in the $350 to $425 range. Let's call it $425 because it make it simple in Smith's brain. I can't sell them for more than $250. So that means I got to come up with $225. I have to come up with $200,000 of subsidy per unit. We're doing 3 units in Lake Monticello for $150,000 worth of subsidy. Excuse me. Yeah, 3 units in Lake Monticello for $150,000 worth of subsidy. That's part of the reason some of this is moving towards Fulvana County, because that's kind of where the price point is, and that's the bulk of the buyers, right? They're trying to get into that level.
Keith Smith dropping knowledge today. You're on point today.
It's the coffee.
That's dude. You're crushing. You're crushing today.
Third one today.
We've said often that Louisa County is going to be the cherry, if you may, on top of the Central Virginia sundae.
Yeah, but let's
car sundae.
I agree. I think you're going to see percentage-wise that. But let's look at volume for a minute, right? So Louisa County actually went down in sales volume by 5%. So the last 2 months, there's been about 5% less sold. Now, I didn't do Louisa County. We can find out what's pending in Louisa. And I just want to caution everybody, these are not complete quarter numbers. So what we're looking at right now is just a snapshot. But let me do this real quick because I need to put car in here, otherwise I get yelled at by Greg Slater. So there's another 34.
We don't want that.
We don't want that, trust me. I've been on the receiving end of that.
We love you, Greg.
I love him dearly, but he does yell at me regularly.
I think Greg's yelled at me before.
Well, he likes it. So there's 34 units that are pending in Louisa. This is car footprint only. 9 of them are new construction. So basically, you're going to be jumping somewhere around 60 units, plus or minus, right? Once we get to the end of the month, which is, going to be a little bit above the 51 that closed. We'll see what the price. The median sales price is $382, which is interesting. That is lower than what we're showing at the moment now. So I may have to retweak this. I may have made a mistake. There's no way that number's going back. I'm sorry, reread the wrong one. 465. So it's going to jump from 402 to roughly 465. I read the low side.
This has come in, and this doesn't even take into consideration what you guys have talked about with all the outside influences on the market. Jerry rattles this often, what UVA is doing, what Amazon's doing, what Northrop Grumman is doing, etc.
Read a really interesting.
We haven't even had that impact yet.
Read a really interesting article this morning that Central Virginia is like the top data storage in the country.
Where'd you read that?
I think it was in Yahoo.
I think we talked about that, didn't we, Judah?
It was in Yahoo. I'd have to.
Central Virginia being one of the top data.
I'd have to double check it here.
Yeah,
Didn't we talk about that?
I think so.
I think it was Yahoo News. Also, Yahoo was talking about the number of agents going out, and they were doing a report on that, and everybody's kind of getting back to the number that I've been predicting, closer to around 50 or 60%. But we'll see how that goes.
Do we have a local prediction? A local estimate so far?
I didn't have time to do that. I'm going to do that when I get back from vacation. Well, actually, I have time for next Wednesday. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look at year-to-date last year, year-to-date this year, and take a look at sales volume and find out what remember we were talking about the number of agents that had 0 to 1 transaction? I wanted to see if that number is greater this year than it was last year. I just didn't get a chance to do that. That takes a lot of work in Paragon to do it. You got to dig into it to get those numbers, but that would be very interesting to see, because I think if your number is higher, I think you're going to see more people get out of the business because they're not making money, the volume of sales, than it is the.
Why is Yes Realty Partners so busy?
Yonna's really good.
That's his wife.
Yonna's really
I
good.
think people know that by now.
Yeah. Yonna's really, really good. Really, really good. And she's gotten a lot better on managing me. So, we just been what we do. We focus on taking care of the client, and we just do what we do well. And this whole decoupling and all that stuff, it only excites me, to be frank with you. But yeah, we just do what we do well.
This is coming.
Thank you for putting me on my heels. I didn't
Diane
wasn't ready for that one.
Diane Hoffman, thank you for liking our content.
Who was that?
Diane Hoffman.
Hoffman. Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting one. Has there been any impact yet on upzoning locally? I haven't seen any impact.
Well,
Still too early to tell, right?
I'm going to dabble in that for a minute.
Okay. You've seen an impact? I'm very curious to hear how you answer this.
So one needs to define impact, right? So I think the initial impact was people put pieces of property on the market
At top dollar, beyond top dollar.
beyond top dollar, because
Yeah.
if you take a look at where the largest price changes were, it was in the city of Charlottesville.
The most price reductions
Right,
is what you're alluding to, right?
Reductions, changes, whatever you want to call it.
Modifications?
Modifications.
Adjustments?
Adjustments. Are we in the chiropractor? again?
Drops? Cuts?
People went in high, the market said no, and they're adjusting it. Now we're flat, right? This quick little 2 months, but I think you're going to see a substantial jump. Actually, we can take a look at that real quick and see what the city of Charlottesville's pending is. Real quick, hold on a second here. So the 63 pending, which would put the city of Charlottesville way over where it was at the last quarter, because the end of the last quarter was 79, so there's no new construction in the city of Charlottesville. So you're going to end up jumping roughly somewhere another 60, so it'll be substantially higher. That's this last month is going to make a huge difference. But we're at 525, and they're looking at right now the average roughly 625. So you're going to probably see a jump in price by the end of this quarter. But at the moment, it's flat as this table that we're on.
Formica?
Yeah. It ain't wood, brother.
There's wood trim.
Yeah, sure.
This is wood
It's
trim.
wood. You've got a wood edging on it.
Wood edging.
You got wood edging on
Do you
it.
remember what the old table used to look like?
Yeah. I kind of missed that set.
Why? Because it was more intimate?
I was more intimate with you.
The table was closer.
Well, we did this because of,
Was it because of COVID?
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
We
I
did-
mean it longer.
because we're like 6 feet apart
Oh,
from
this is
each
way
other.
more than 6 feet.
Yeah. But we were, I
I think
like
the
to,
previous table was 6 feet. In fact,
yeah,
you
but we
used to
sat
bust
across
out.
from each other.
Yeah, you used
Not
to.
that people need to know this.
You busted. Well, I mean, some people were like, "Why are you sitting so close to each other?" And then this was during the peak pandemic, and you had to bust out the measuring tape, and we're like, "We're over 6 feet."
Remember, we used to do
You were doing some of the shows with a mask on.
with a smiley face on it.
Yeah, with a mask on.
The stuff that we do.
That was crazy times, right?
Well, it's hard to believe. We talked about this the other day. The impact analysis, the generational impact analysis report, that's the 6th one we've done. We're in beginning our 6th year.
That's substantial.
I'm done with you. I'm finished. That's it. I'm
You're
a
going to
little
come
slow.
back so recharged from your vacation.
I
You're
am,
going to be like,
I'm excited about it. I am.
you always come back juiced and jacked up and charged.
I am. You know, we will work. We always work when we're down there, but there's always a difference of working down there than here.
What's the day in the life of St. Martin's for a broker and a star agent?
Somebody else going with you?
I knew you were going to say that.
You only got something else going on that I don't know about?
Is your daughter going? She's an agent.
No,
She's
no.
a rising
this
star.
is
I know. It's just you guys for your anniversary.
yeah.
No.
For our anniversary.
I'm so happy for you
Yeah,
guys.
we you know, look.
How long you going down there?
Sorry,
How long you going down there?
2 weeks.
Okay. What's a day in the life?
Yeah. So
How you give us the itinerary?
the itinerary. There isn't one, right? That's the point, right? There isn't one. Is Yonna watching?
I can tell you.
She's doing a graduation
I
of
can tell you.
Buffini. She's graduating.
She's working.
Yeah. She's graduating. So Yonna is a coach and mentor under the Buffini.
Yonna is not active.
Yeah. I know she's doing a graduating her class, which she's really great at. So I'm renting a bike.
Okay.
I did that last year. I connected with a rather eclectic group of guys and gals down there
That live there, or they're?
They're expats.
Okay.
They generally, I mean, there's people from Monaco, France, Belgium, so we're a whole kind of a United Nations group of people, and we do group rides around the island. So those start real early in the morning.
Okay.
So like at 30, we'll do it. It's a 38-mile loop, and we'll do that, and we'll have breakfast and go hang out at the beach, answer emails, do whatever we got to do, then decide where we're going to go for dinner. That's the big decision of the day.
Is there a nice bar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that bar in St.
So
Martin.
where we go is Grand Cas. So this is a little Creole village on the French side of St. Martin. So if you know anything about the island, there's a Dutch side.
I know nothing about the island.
There's a Dutch, because you just work all the time. So there's a Dutch side and a French side. I'm also 20-something years older than you.
I totally get it. I do work all the time. You're right.
When I was your age, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
So the Dutch side is where the airport is and all that stuff. We pick up our car and beat feed it to the French side, and we pretty much stay on the French side exclusively. Yonna's an EU citizen, speaks fluent French. I'm working on English. And
Why not the Dutch side? Which side is nicer?
Oh, that's a matter of an opinion.
Okay.
I prefer the French side.
Why? Tell us.
Because there's not any structures taller than a palm tree.
Okay.
Palm tree. It's French. It's very French, and I'm a Francophile. I love all things French, and
And the Dutch side?
it's more American
Yeah.
than it is French. You have high-rise units, casinos, that kind of thing, which is not my thing. Look, our goal.
Which one's more affordable?
Oh, they're all both the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our goal is to live like locals. And when I'm walking down the beach 3 or 4 days into it, when somebody walks up to me and asks me a question in French, I hit my goal. Right? So I want to, but we live like locals, like locals will live. And this sounds real fancier than what it is. This is not a very expensive thing. I don't want people to think that. But we live with French family that we know down there, and I got to beg them to pay them for the little Airbnb they have there. It's 100 yards from the beach.
Is it detached from their house? Okay.
Yeah, that what they did there is exactly what the city of Charlottesville is trying to do. They bought a villa, they renovated, they live on the second story. Lower level, they have 2 one-bedroom apartments, and then they took a garage and converted it into a little 2-bedroom ADU, which is what we rent from them. But if you ever Google it, we're foodies. The Grand Cas is the culinary capital of the Caribbean. You will walk down it, literally it's a dirt road. You walk down a dirt road, and there's some of the best restaurants you'll ever want to eat at. And you get to drink like Provence, really good French rosé.
Oh,
Maybe $3 or $4 a bottle versus $20 to $30 here.
that's
It's
fantastic.
a deal. Such a deal. A little expensive to get there, but such a deal.
What, you're talking airfare?
Really, airfare, rental car. I don't know if I should do this or not, but airfare, rental car in 2 weeks in our friend's Airbnb is $3,500 for 2 people.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Freaking, you can't buy a week on Outer Banks of a house for that
For
price.
that, yeah.
For that price, right? And then, I rent a bike. That's a little bit of money. I've become close friends with the guys that own the bike. So this is like going home for us. This is our 12th year.
He comes back recharged, guys,
Love it.
ready to rock and roll. But as I've highlighted, in June when he's
Yep.
gone, he's got a star-studded lineup.
We will release that information next Wednesday.
Yeah. Is next Wednesday the last show before you go?
My last show. So
There you
there's
go.
no show on Friday, guys.
Yeah.
I've got 2 home inspections in Richmond, and Jerry.
I'm at a wedding.
And Jerry's at a wedding, so this is the last of Batman and Robin you'll have until next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, and then he'll release the star-studded lineup that's going to be in Keith's seat.
Star-studded. Maybe some studs. I don't know about studs.
Oh, star-studded. I mean, it's a pretty impressive list.
Yeah. It should be. It's funny when I first started doing the show, and you know this. I used to watch it and used to text in. Now
No one who does broadcasting watches their performance.
Oh, I've learned that from you.
Yeah, no one who doesn't. You never do it.
I started that, and I was a heartbeat away from quitting, and you kept me in the game.
No one does.
Yeah.
No one does.
Anybody-
You watch other people, and you learn from other people what they do.
That I do.
You never watch yourself.
That I do. And any guests that come in on the show, I usually say, the way to do this is you do the show, it's live.
Yeah.
We don't post-edit anything. This is what
It's
you
how
see
it's supposed to be. What you see is what you get.
what
Yeah.
you get.
So I've done content in television when I was working in TV where it was recorded. Yeah, when it was recorded. And it's much less fun. Because when
Well, it's also edited. If you take a look, and that's what people talk about, what makes your show different, what we do different than everybody else. Most people edit their podcasts substantially.
Ours is completely warts and flaws and everything.
So last Wednesday, we weren't on, at least I wasn't on it.
Yeah.
And you got to see that.
Yeah.
Today, the coffee kicked in.
Today was fantastic. It was easy peasy. I mean, I just looked at the time for the first time today. But my point is this: on previous where it was recorded, you would go 5 or 10 minutes in, you'd make a mistake, and because you knew it was recorded, not you, but whoever was doing it,
You got to do it all over.
you would be stop. I want to start over. And then it would be 3 or 4 times of doing that, and then it becomes much more labor intensive. It becomes work.
I've thought that in my head a few times.
No.
Stop. I wanna do
This,
it.
it is what it is.
Yeah. We love it. I love it anyway.
Keith Smith and Yonna Smith are the principals of Yes Realty Partners. Yes Realty Partners is a team you can trust, know firsthand. They will get you to the closing table and beyond. The show is archived on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. The partners that you see on screen
Please.
are the ones that Keith has personally vetted.
Please.
He's been in business since 1987, and if you need someone that you can trust, click the Partners tab on Real Talk with Keith Smith, and you'll see the folks that you can count on to help you buy and sell real estate in Central Virginia.
Thank you. So we'll see everybody next Wednesday,
Wednesday.
not Friday, next Wednesday.
That's right.
Enjoy your wedding, safe travels. You're driving, right?
Upstate New York.
Ooh, where upstate?
I don't know. My wife does that. I just get in the car.
You're going up 81
Go in
then.
the car. I would imagine we're doing 81. With 2 kids, that's probably the only. In particular, an 18-month-old. It's challenging to go any other way.
Have you ever done the driving in the middle of the night? So the
Oh,
kids
I
sleep?
think we're going to be leaving at like 4 a.m. We're hoping that we get our.
Well, that's when I
18
normally get up, so that's not in the middle of the night.
I mean, we're hoping our 18-month-old wakes up 3 hours into the trip.
Yeah, so Yasmina.
Maybe 3:30 departure.
Yasmina, I'm sorry, we got to wrap up. But Yasmina was asking me this morning, wouldn't it be really nice to bring the 2 kids on the next trip we go down to St. Martin?
Just you and the kids?
Yeah, and the 2 grandkids.
No, wait. You, Yonna, and the 2 grandkids? And you said hell no, right?
I think I'd actually enjoy that. It'd be a lot of fun. It would have to be next year. Vienna's right at that.
How old is she?
She's 3, so she's.
That's right at the cusp of
Yeah.
Meltdown City potentially.
Yeah.
Because that's a long travel to get there.
Yeah.
How long is it travel to get there?
Not very long. Flight time's total 4 hours.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's the reason this will sound extremely arrogant, or very. What does Yvonne say?
Bougie, first
No,
class.
First world.
First
or-
world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we lived in Europe, so a bunch of years and got to see that. I just don't like being in a plane for 8 to 10, 12
of
hours.
course.
But I can be in Richmond. We'll take off at Richmond at 7
PM?
a.m.
Okay.
and we'll be at our friend's home 1 o'clock. By 1:30, I'll be on the beach.
That's great.
At the bar about
Yeah?
4:30.
That's great.
Because we watch the sunset. So our daily thing,
Yeah.
is we watch the sunset every night.
That's great.
And we've got a little friend that owns a small little bar that's on the beach, and we'll watch the sunset every night.
Keith Smith, the itinerary was appreciated. I very much enjoyed today's show. Judy Linkauer, Jerry Miller, Real Talk with Keith Smith on point today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I Love CVille show at 12:30. So long, everybody.